but it's probably going to be a nice play to go over. And that's kind of what they did, right? So if you look at this cloud here, I'm just going to hide this for a moment. This is what they did, right? And I think Cuban, you asked actually towards the end of the watch list, hey, like what is it that they could do here? And what are the levels? So now when you think about it, that's exactly what they did. We didn't want to short this immediately, even though, if you grab this short, you could have made it on a money side, but I said do not short it. It's easier if it goes over and comes back under because that'll show weakness. Otherwise, I think they want to push this. And I think that's kind of what's playing out. They're really doing the best they can to push it. So pretty much opposite of the day prior. If you guys think about this, and if you guys recall, we had bull flags that were playing out bear flags that were playing out all across here, 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 and then, here, based on our watch list day prior, we said, hey, just watch out for this level. They could just continue it and keep pushing, right? And that's what they did. And then they came back here one time and they grabbed the liquidity here, and then they continued higher. They almost made a higher high here towards the end of the day. So I think trading wise, not a bad day, but you just had to, a lot of people were itchy to short. I sent you guys a couple of warnings. I would not as much today, just because the volume, if you guys look at the volume on a daily, I'll remove all of it so you guys can see it. I mean, does this look like
it sucks?
I mean, this is a pretty horrific volume, guys. I mean, this is the, what is this? This would be, this 2022. This is the lowest, no, third lowest volume day in 2023. So it's not something you want to be shorting much because they're pushing it. And if you look at this candle here on the daily, there is some, bearish volume anomaly, but I would not be surprised if they execute this to the higher side. We talked about initially, we said if you're able to break the 410, if you guys recall, we really need them to push now to 430, and I think that's what they're about to do. So let me change this. I think this is the level that they're going to be pushing for, 429, 430 level. This is where they're headed. And I don't know what will bring the market down. It seems like the inflation and stuff is being played down to the downside, right? So if you guys look at the news right now coming from different countries, right, Europe is going to be increasing rates only 25 basis points, and then they're looking to stop in March. So I would think if Europe is doing that, I wonder if US is going to lead that. And if US doesn't lead that, is that the bearish sign or whatnot? I just don't think the 25 basis points would do anything on US in terms of market, ripping or going down at all. I think it's going to be bigger news, and could be these aliens or whatever is going on in Ohio. Hopefully none of you guys live there.
What the hell is that all about?
Like, I'm really not sure what's going on, but it seems like some people posted on my social media on Facebook and other platforms like these dark clouds and fish and animals dying, and I was like, it looks pretty scary. And guess what? U.S. media is not covering that at all.
Of course not.
So it'll be interesting to see, right? And then on ES, same pretty much chart here, right? Nothing really changed besides the fact that we went to the 4150 level, and I posted this morning that the 4-hour top was pretty much the magnet that they wanted to hit that today, and they're pushing heavily towards it. If you guys look here in the normal market, this is where the extensions come in. If you guys follow these candles, like you see this candle, nice volume. Then it comes in, and this is the opening, smaller. Let's say, let me grab the same one. Then you get one of these. Then you get a nice candle here. And how many people do you guys think on 30 minutes saw this candle here, indecision, and then saw another here, indecision, doji candle, and we're like, okay, well, this is going to be the pullback on this candle.
I actually was going to short there, but I didn't when you said warning.
Yeah, because to me, it looked like a really, really good trap. I mean, you should have been falling after this candle here. And then I checked the volume and I'm like, man, like, what is it that they want to do today? Like, it seems like they just are not going to have any of those down candles or lower lows. So I was like, for me, I'm just like, I'm done. You know, I'm not gonna anticipate any shorts. And then at every point that I would look to get back in, I was like, man, 41. I mentioned 41.30 was my level. If I was gonna get back in, I did not. There's a couple of reasons, right? So when I was looking at these levels right here, you know, I mentioned you guys are probably familiar now with 41.36 level. I think I was screaming it for some time now.
You
So
were
I saw
talking.
this level here, and then we bounced perfectly off of it, right? So that was pretty good. But then I saw this right here. This is the one that I was like, okay, something's going on. So what's special about this candle here?
Volume picked up.
It's pretty much, if you think about this, it's first time the volume picked up after these two from about 11 o'clock. And then, of course, the mornings are always volume's going to be spiked. But I was like, okay, at 2 o'clock, you're telling me the algo is indicating on the sell side. It might be interesting. So I was like, okay, this probably be a good short, but I did not even take this. And then I saw, you know, this speed up here, then they accumulated a little bit more. And then I was like, okay, well, this is a nice break here. So they broke this nicely. They went below 41.36. On Discord, I told you guys, pay attention to the 41.30 level. I don't know if anyone remembers it, but this was the level here. Why this one? Does anyone know?
We
Because
ripped
that's
on that
where
level.
you will make a change in trend because you will make lower low.
Lower low, yeah.
Yep. So a lot of people, you know, well, I think Josh mentioned, hey, my trend setter is right here. So if you think about this, right? So let's say that this is what we knew at that time. We knew this, we didn't know the rest, right? So imagine this to the right's gone. I know that this is consolidation now. You're not making, think about it, you're not making higher highs, but you're making lower highs, but you're not making lower lows here. So that immediately tells me you're consolidating, right? I don't take usually the low of consolidation as a trend breaker, because usually what happens from those is called market maker pattern, and that's exactly what they did here. If you guys remember what the market maker pattern is, they pretend they're going to go down and then they go back and hit the top. And this acts as a spring. If you guys remember now, remember the range, like buy SSL high and SSL low.
Yeah.
So if this was my SSL low and this is my SSL high, this is a spring. So I did not short it because I knew there's a high chance they're going to come from here, bounce it, and there's a high chance they go to the top. This was the only shorting opportunity you had for 20 points based off of this candle formation and then a lot of prayers that you're going to get to the bottom at least to here. So 14 points short. So for me, I was like, man, there's so many wicks and so many like stop loss, you know, they're hunting here for a lot of shorts. It didn't make sense. And then I added the volume profile. And what did the volume profile tell you? This is called a short cover rally, right? This is, they're covering shorts here. They're basically squeezing them. You come out of the D shape, right? We knew they're going to potentially run this. And then, I mean, you start from the bottom, you reclaim the value area high, and then look at the profile. It's a pretty good P shape, right? So they, you know, it's a short cover rally here for the most part. So we reclaimed that level, I would say 41.87.
You're saying it is short covering and not the long because the volume is not saying it is, you know,
Correct. They're
more
not
bullish.
buying this. No, exactly.
Okay.
They're not buying
Okay.
this. Well, I say they're not buying it doesn't mean they can't continue melting up. They definitely can, right? But when you check volume, this is pathetic, right? That you're running on this type of volume on a candle like today. So and a P shape, right? A P shape like this, you know, when you're going a little bit down off of a D shape, you know, you want to progress a little bit and build base, right? If you're going up, you want to build gradual base, support base.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, these are not the ideal scenarios on P shapes, right? So I would expect P shape if we had a P shape here and then continue P shape, but instead we got a B shape in the uptrend. right? And same here, right? So a lot of short cover rallies are happening, and they're trying to squeeze them. And now the cost of shorting is really, really expensive on SPY. A 10% hedge is really, really like all time. I think it's at all time high on SPY. So right now it's cheaper for you to buy a call is sell 100 shares of SPY than just buy puts. Does anyone know the name of that?
No.
May you repeat?
If I buy a call and I short the underlying, what is that?
Protective put.
It's like
I don't have shares.
Hedging? No.
Is that a naked short?
No,
Selling a naked call?
it's called a synthetic put.
Oh, I would never known that.
Yeah, it's called a synthetic put. I was short the shares, but I have a call, right? So my call is covering the shares or vice versa. Usually when the puts get expensive, the hedge funds would do that. There goes dumpster nose. Okay. Dumpster, poor guy. Does he live in Ohio? Did that chemical get to him? Dumpster. Okay. So honestly think there's short cover rally here, but let's see how they do, right? So we have the VPOC. Hopefully you guys have this one marked. A few of you guys were, kind of talking about this, but just make sure you have it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be important, right? Tomorrow, if we are able to hop over this level, look to the left. How many value areas do you see above this level? Meaning value areas, the 68% of volume are above this level.
it's one.
And that one literally has a gap. A skinny belly. If you're able to get over this level, I would say right here, high chance you're going to go to at least 41.90. So there's a really high chance once you get over 41.60,
Yes,
you're
you
going to
just
be
said
running
today.
all the way up to here.
Yep, that's what you said today. And look, it tapped 41.50 right on the money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think we talked about that briefly as well.
Yeah, you did.
So I would just update these levels, even though, the value areas and stuff will not play a role for a move tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think, as you guys have probably now learned, right? It's best, I would say, not to play it than be a hero and guess it. A lot of people lose their accounts on stuff like this, and you actually create bad habits that you can't get rid of later on. You become a gambling trader, and then you get lucky. You might nail it, and you might pump your chest like, oh yeah, I nailed these calls, I made all this money. And then the next one you do the same, maybe without logic, right? And then something happens and you lose it all, right? And then you blame the market. Oh, market should have done this. Remember, market doesn't need to do anything you think it should do. I suggest you lay back. Maybe if you have some popcorn, make some popcorn and enjoy it. Because tomorrow will be fireworks. Tomorrow I personally think, and I don't know what's the implied move on SPX. We can take a look. But I'm pretty sure
70 points.
70 points. I think it's more. There's no way, because today's move was 70 points and we had nothing. 72 points today without it.
Holy shit.
Well, you want to calculate. You want to take the first closest in the money call and then the money put and multiply by 85%. Add them up, multiply by 85%.
Wow.
Shorty, every day that the volume is low, like it was today, and it moves up, is that a short covering every time, or is that just today?
No, today you have to pay attention to the shapes. Whenever you have we're kind of trending down, right? We were going down. People call it a full bull flag or whatnot, but in terms of couple of days now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 days, you're making lower highs, and I would say lower lows here on 30 minutes. Lower high, lower low. Here you have a higher low, but lower high still. So you're consolidating here, right? And then here you come in, you know, with a D shape, and right out of the D shape, when you see something, so think about it, you know, you're saying, hey, we're happy here. That's what this is saying. Hey, we're happy in this price. And then, oh, we're no longer happy. What news came out today?
Think.
Nothing really.
Yeah, nothing really.
Yeah, so if it was news driven, I would say, yeah, you know, algorithms are positioned differently. But here, this is definitely a short covering rally. Like there was not really news. News are anticipated tomorrow. So tonight on futures, I would anticipate to see this literally just kind of hold here and bounce in between. And of course, you guys know how to trade these by now. There's a high chance, right, that we might hit some of these PD value area lows levels just because the nodes that we were sitting on. So just pay attention to that. You guys see that there's a node right here. You can't ignore these nodes even though they're inside the profile, right? So you guys see this, that there's a high chance they can bounce this right here. So you really do not want to short this, for instance. Where would you guys short it? Let me ask.
Low PD value area low.
You
If
gotta
it goes
drop
there.
below here. Yeah, I would not short this below 41 unless it breaks 41.24. That's the only way I short it. And that here, just make sure you have a zone, not a single level. Like something like that, right? Because once you lose this, then you get a little bit of points, 12 points, and you see it's 12 points here, 12 points here, and then it gets a little tighter between the levels on the upper side. Okay, so a lot more potential for upside if we reclaim this 4160. I would definitely watch this. I'm probably not gonna trade it just because I'd rather miss it, right, than hope that I'm right. At least that's my mindset, right? When it comes to these events, let the dust settle, let them, you know, trade away, liquidity grabs. So usually what you're going to see in days like this is, so the way it works, and I don't know if you guys care to know, and maybe you can, whoever has tossed, you can watch this tomorrow. So let me see, what time is the release? 8:30. If you're awake and you want to see how this beauty works, go on a book map on ES tomorrow, and on the book map, you're gonna see like a little area here of different colors. It's gonna be green, blue, orange, whatever you have set up, right? Which indicates liquidity of the market. In the morning, for like maybe 25 minutes before, like 8 o'clock, you're gonna see literally nothing. It's gonna go from this wide box to this tiny little box that's like this. That means all the liquidity and the orders sitting, limit orders up or down, are pretty much gone. They take them back because supposedly they don't know which way it's going to go. Then all of a sudden, you see a large order if it's far away from the price. And just watch this tomorrow. If you see an order that's like super, super far, let's say like, you know, we are here at 41 and an order comes in, I would say far considered, you know, 12 to 15, 20 points above. If it comes there, you'll notice these colors come up in a smaller rectangle. What do you guys think happens when the order comes in like that?
They'll grab it.
Say it again.
They will take it.
Yeah, they will take it. But what happens to the other orders that didn't take, like they were not part of that order? Like, think about it. All the companies are waiting to see who's buying, who's selling. If you're telling me the price is 41 and you jump with the large order to 41.20, what are you initiating?
Oh, people chase the price.
You're going to be
maybe.
initiating bullish price because you want to
Bull
get
run,
in on
man.
the cheaper price because everybody else is going to jump in a frenzy and poof, go higher. They're going to try to fill that and help you. So this guy got it at 41.20. He's going to ride that a little bit longer, right? And then he's probably going to sell his. And that's when you see those spikes, right? You guys will be like, poof. So if an order comes in closer to the price where we were at 8 o'clock, there's a potential that you can drop there. Okay. So the same thing happens in the market all the time. So if you guys think about, like, let's say, let me find the chart, AMD, if you guys just delete this. If you guys think about the market auction theory, right? So if you have your bids here, right? And then you have your sells here to ask. And then you guys know it's diagonal from here to here. So if I know, let's say that this box right here is loaded. I mean, it's sticking out like this with number of orders. And this box here, let's say, is not as big. Okay. If they want to manipulate the market and they want to get you to fall into one side, how would they do it?
Break above the larger supply and come back down and break support.
Yeah, exactly. They would cause this to be like, oh, from 87 we jump to 92. Then what does retail do?
I'm
Feel
for
like,
92.
oh my God, I missed the order on AMD. Market, buy, right? Once they get to the buy, well, this guy just helped his buddy at Citadel or somebody be like, hey man, I brought you all the sheep. And then this guy goes, okay, well, thank you for filling this block order. Whoop. It basically eats up all the orders. Once you eat up all the orders, what happens to the price?
Drops.
If this, so that's called absorption.
Absorption.
Yeah. What they're going to do is they're going to absorb all your orders up here. And since they absorbed all these massive orders on the bid side, this goes down. So tomorrow, if you want to watch it, it's kind of interesting. It happens all the time. That you can see these liquidity grabs. You can see it on SPY. You can see it on ES. ES is probably the most liquid thing that you can do unless you're trading Forex. But definitely, you know, I would avoid trading that tomorrow as much as possible. So, and they usually are triggers for each other, right? The high frequency traders, they know how they're positioned, right? I mean, there are certain friendships that they create, if you want to call it, between the brokers and hedge fund houses. And they can say, hey, we're going to pump it and probably dump. And believe it or not, that actually happens with the same verbiage. Like, we're going to go here, and then it comes up like, hey, we're going to sell. So it's kind of like a warning shot, just like, you know, the hedge funds get the calls from their favorite clients, and they're like, hey, we're going to be doing this, and we can make you this with a certain percent points to you and certain points for us. And the guy says, yeah, sure, if you can get me 10% on 40 million, I'll take it. Pretty easy, right? So tomorrow, just watch that. I mean, that's why I marked some of these levels. If we break the 41.58, you have this range here. I would think they tap this 41.90 level here. That would mean they're also grabbing a little bit more liquidity here, because now you have a couple of liquidity grabs that have not been completed on the upside. So if you guys look here, you know, they've been here, and this was a really strong high all of a sudden. Previously wasn't strong high. They came back here and they really, really rejected it. And I mean, this is pretty aggressive selling if you look at it in terms of day session. They sold it pretty good. And then they're coming back here. I would say this is the block order that pretty much executed that, if I was to say right here. So if they're able to break that, most likely they will tap this one. I would say they're going for 41.90. So if you see them spike it right to 41.90 tomorrow, and they're not quickly making higher highs, I would say not taking 42.08 quickly, there's a high chance they're going to be pulling back. Okay. Then you have this level here. Does anyone know why would this play a role?
That's not giant value area high. That's something else.
Let me see. I think you're right.
I think it's August or something.
It's August value area high and also a rundown POC.
Hold on. That's correct. That one's August. This is August.
Yeah, that's August.
So why August here? Why do you guys think that? I had Jan here. I think I copied it.
Logic simply says that August value area is still unexplored, and you went in and you came back for retest, and now you're going up. So it is 80% to upside on that VA, which is still unexplored.
Yeah, well done. So if you look at this, this is our VA on August, right? So you guys see it? If this is our August VA, and now you come back and just extend it for a moment, just to visualize it. What did we do here? We came back, we didn't like it, right? We got rejected out of it. Then we
Yeah.
popped back inside, and now it's saying what?
Rejected again.
No, it's accepting.
Retest.
Retested and held.
Accepted.
Now they're accepting this. So there's a high chance now, if you look at this POC, right? Just go over to the right. We're right there. 41. What level is that? Right?
4136.
Very important level, guys. It's super important level for the upside tomorrow. So if we can hold that level, I would just make sure, you know, that your sentiment's bullish. Okay. So it's important because now they can test the extreme opposite of the low here. And that would mean the 42.71. So that's the play that I think potentially is being made. And if you guys recall this, right, didn't we talk about September value area high and low for some period of time before they reached it? When we started this, did it sound like crazy that they might go for this when we were at 3,800s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little
it
bit.
sounded like, well, it sounded a little bit crazy. Like, oh my God, like you're gonna
Yeah.
what? Gonna go from 38.20, you're gonna go to 41.50? No way. Well, they came, they executed it, right? And then, you know, they're kind of consolidating right at it right now. So if we're able to pop over that level, 41.53, I would say, you know, along with the VPOC that we have 4 points above, which I would probably wait for it to clear, then you have a high chance of the 42.71. Because there's not much value area highs here left besides, if you think about the next one would be April, it would be 45.87, and that's the VPOC here at 44.62 for April. And if they do this run here from 35.90 to 4,500, I mean, 1,000 points in a short period of time, that's pretty impressive.
I'd like you to add a level 42.20.50.
42.20.50. We had
That
that
is-
level. We had that
That
level.
is your 2022 value area high level.
Yeah.
That
I
is
remember that.
correct. I have that marked. That's correct.
Yeah, we had that.
Only reason I bring it up is because it's below our August value area high, so it could be something to watch out for.
Yep, no, that's a good point.
Shorty, you also said to mark 41.90.75.
41.90. Say it again.
41.90.75. Does that ring a bell?
That's a POC. 41.91.50 is a POC.
Okay.
And I think it's somewhere here. It is February 2nd. POC. This one here.
Yep.
Yep. I remember that level now. But it was for something like that. So now you see, I mean, they're creating liquidity on both ends. And now what else do you need to give for the bulls here? Now, when you zoom in and you turn off all these SVPs and PVPs, I can turn this off. Look what on 4 hours. What does it look like to a normal person?
Bull flag.
It just looks like a pretty bull flag. And believe it or not, they will run this bull flag to the top. And you know, the 4208 is untapped liquidity. So if they want to mess with the market more, a nice little pullback here at the PD value area low, I think would do the trick. There's something else at this level. Hopefully you guys are able to see it.
The secret thing, secret demand.
Yeah, it's a secret domain right there sitting on it. So it'd be
41,
interesting.
43,
Say it again.
41, 43.
41. No, that's POC.
Oh.
That's PD POC there. Demand's right at the PD value area low. So now I honestly think if they're able to break the VPOC, come back for a retest, it would do two things. I know for a fact when people play bull flags, at least more patient ones, the way they play it is this way. They let it come back. And then from here, they let it pop and then they go long from this level to the upside. So if that happens, they pop it and come back. I think we would have a reason to go long. So that would be an ideal play if we get it. Right, but we would need to make sure the volume up and the volume down is, excuse me, in alignment before we proceed with that trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you have your fibs, I would just have them from the bottom now, because we don't know, which way they want to go. Just have them marked up all the way. So you should have that here somewhere. Okay. So all this fluff now that they're doing, I wouldn't pay attention too much to it. At any point, they can have a big candle, and if they see too many buyers, sellers, they can hit a stop loss. And I mean, I think if you guys feel the market, I would say the market's starting to shift where more people are buying into the long bias. More people are giving up and saying the market's not going to go down. This is not going down. It's not happening. And I don't blame them. We've been running through a lot. But you just want to play with caution on how much you're buying onto the swings. Because one night, you load up on let's say Microsoft, you see a flow and you put your whole account. And then the next day, I don't know, Microsoft headquarters on fire or something, right? Losing data centers, and boom, it's gone.
Big dump.
And those type of black swan events happen. And that's why I say, usually when people expect it to dump, I promise it's not going to dump. It's never dumped that way. And all of these news, when you think about it, they're serving one purpose, and that's a distraction from an issue that's building. So I think any pullbacks here are going to be bought up quickly. So let's see how they react. Any major stocks? Let's see. Wow, look at this. What in the world is this? Look at the 4-hour candles, guys.
Jeez.
It looks like a graveyard.
Beautiful.
It's crazy.
Fireworks.
I mean, it's a good looking candle here, but look at this. Abandoned baby. Then we send it down below it. Trap people short, and now God, it is just disgusting what they're doing. Well, here's look at this weekly. Hammer and a doji right here so far. Or gravestone. Pretty brutal price action. Microsoft tends to be looking the strongest. Now look at this here. So a lot of volume came in here, almost same amount of volume. One second highest volume from the whole run up is right here at the top.
You got double bottom there.
Yeah. Well, somebody offloaded Google, like a lot. That says the highest volume on Google since here.
Wow.
So it's basically second highest selling volume since COVID.
Why the big dump, Shorty?
Well, Google is going to hurt primarily from if Microsoft gets their search engines aligned with the AI, the Chat GPT. I think they're betting big. All of the boys are betting big on Microsoft succeeding.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you should give up on Google's AI at all, but that's just me.
Hmm.
I think they're just as powerful as Microsoft, or maybe even more. I think they have more data on personal than Microsoft. Google has all your search history. Don't worry. They know
Yeah.
your behavior.
Because what Microsoft has Edge, right? And yeah, way more people use even just the regular Google browser than Edge.
I cannot use Edge. I mean, I just can't. I've been on Chrome, man, since it came out.
Yeah, Chrome is really good. It's so fast too.
Edge just came out with their AI search engine too. It's really annoying.
Hold on,
Oh.
Edge is not integrated in Microsoft, or like when
Edge is, but they have a new AI search engine.
Oh,
Hmm.
is it slower than it used to be, or?
I haven't used it yet, but it's supposed to be pretty intuitive. You can speak and to what you're looking for, and it's supposed to find everything. But ultimately, it's just going to be used to limit what the search results are based on what they want you to find.
Funny, yeah. Oh, well, cool. Yeah, I'm just not. The only thing that I use from Microsoft is the Windows, right? Just because I can't get to use, I don't know, all the shortcuts on, I would say on Apple. So if I did, I'd probably switch totally. Yeah. Any other tickers? Anyone interested in?
Shorty, can you look at SPY on the daily? I wanted to get your opinion on something.
I was just about to ask him.
I was thinking about like Elliott wave pattern, like starting the first wave on January 6th. And then the pullback. Like if you, because I was thinking that, I'm sorry.
This one here?
Yeah. Like after that consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you pull it back. Yeah. And then that's 3, and then that's 4.
Which one is the most impulsive wave?
The 4th.
3.
No.
3.
3 is the longest.
Is longest. 5th is impulsive.
5.
5 is the most impulsive wave. If I understand Elliott waves correctly, the 5th is the most impulsive wave down. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's fib ratios, so you can figure it out where it's going. I forgot the ratios. I don't use Elliott waves, and I think somebody uses them here.
Is yes, an indicator, Elliott wave.
This one?
Yes, called Elliott wave itself. Maybe
They
it's
have one called Elliott Wave Absolute, but unless that's a new name for it. I think the one that you use is the one is what it is now. They may have changed the name of it.
Okay, so I guess this is your 5th here. And they're projecting with 61.8, it seems like. So 420, 446 would put us right at that April epoch on ES, right? Let me mark that guy. Let me just check something real quick and then I'll. Yeah, so this is the VPOC here for April. Okay. So that would match to this one here, what they're trying to do, or. Here's your 5th wave. That's why if you guys look at the 5th, just, you know, if you're learning Elliott waves, here's your 1, 2, the 3rd finish, the longest, 4th, and you see the 5th. So the 5ths are usually pretty powerful. I just don't know if this one here has this one I would say is not, maybe, well, this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. if this fired off on a daily here, that would make the first one here, second, third, fourth, and then I guess 61.8 from there. So yeah, I mean, and where are you trying to go with it?
No, I was just looking at it. Maybe like 420 level, 420, 430.
I think 430 from volume profile makes sense. Honestly, I think that's the level that they're targeting. Because if you think about this buy right here, you know, even if you grab it all the way to here, if you had this level, which is 411, if I take this data back and just look at this right here, so if you have 420.71 as a fairly important level. So this is a sell-off, and this one already played out. They already tapped this when it went above it, and then they came back for a retest. So I'm not saying that this won't show resistance, but honestly think that they will probably go for the 430, which should be somewhere around this peak here. I think this level here, which should be what, April, I don't think what matters, but I think this 430 psychological will play. And I think they will go over 430. If they can't, they could trap people at 445. All these 430 people would make some money, then they would, once you're at 445, there's an instant number in your head. Right, you're thinking 450, and then you're thinking 500s, right? That would be, I think this would be a great place to trap if I was them.
He's looking more to swing, right, Shorty?
I'm sorry?
He's looking, you're looking more to swing, right?
Yeah, I was just projecting, just in, like with CPI data, and who knows, it may go up. I think even on the full send indicator on like the 4 hour, if you look at SPY on the 4 hour on the full send indicator, it has it's triggered. I believe it's triggered.
Okay.
On 4 hours?
Yeah.
On SPY 4 hour.
Let me check. I got it up here.
Yeah, it's active on 4 hours.
I'm checking right now. 4 hours. Are you talking about full send up? I see full send up. Yeah. I see the full send. It's up. I mean, we're also hitting a if you look at weekly on full send, did anyone check on a weekly lately? 10 years weekly?
I have a 3 years weekly. It's still full send out.
Or do you see a cloud that's built there for a full send down?
Nope.
So here, you see this? See this giant box? So let's see what they do here. I mean, they should have held this level here, but they didn't. And that 42.76 would match with the weekly top here perfectly as well. So
Shorty, if you look at the daily cloud, it still is close with like a MACD of negative 1.4. If we get CPI tomorrow and we like shoot up to like 4,200, would you be more biased towards shorting when we open if the MACD holds?
So here's, all the clouds that I see. Hold on, let me just remove this crap always.
Are we on SPY or ES now?
I'm on ES, right?
Okay.
Did you guys talk about ES or SPY?
ES class.
Okay. So here's your ES, right? So if you look at it, we had the full send here, even on daily from 39.62, and the 4 hours is still there. Right, so it was a lower probability on 4 hours than where we came, right? You see the yellow line. So it was a lower probability one, and now we're hitting the 4 hour top here. So this is your 4 hour top. This is your daily top. Last time you were not able to go above the daily at all. And then the purple one would be your monthly mid right here. So if you guys look at this purple one, that's the monthly mid inside the weekly cloud. So there's a lot of resistance in this level here, just a ton. And last time we came, we hit the daily, the band outside perfectly. So, and what you're talking about, is this right here, I believe. Correct. So this is your daily cloud, right? If you look at it here. So the daily cloud closed right here at Thursday, I would say at 9 o'clock. It closed. And the MACD is okay, negative. I mean, it's let's see on daily. It's negative 99. So a little bit less than 1. So it's
Would you
not.
consider that strong or?
No. It has to be like less than negative 1. You would need to go there a little bit more. Because if you think about this right here, right here it was negative. What is this? I can't measure this right now. This one is, you see how red histograms are here, fairly low.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to here, I mean, these clouds are fairly closed. And then these obviously closed here, and we are building a little bit of divergence now. Like right between the power of the move right here, we're kind of building up divergence now in MACD. Okay. So just something to notice here. And this one is closed, but I just don't think it's strong close. And then if you look at weekly, the weekly clouds here as well. 4194 is the weekly top. Then our monthly is 4220 is our monthly cloud, which lines up with the 2022 value area high. So this level is going to be super important for us to run. If they're able to get over the weekly, I mean, you know, they will have some room to run. They'll be outside the weekly, outside of the daily. It's usually called trifecta, and then I don't know where the quarterly would be, but this here is, look at the quarterly MACD here. Do you see it? It's a negative 18. So
It's pretty close, right?
this is pretty close, yeah. Usually you don't break through something when it's negative like 4, but negative 18, it would take something, yes, miracle-wise to pop that through. I'm not sure what they could use, but they would need some significant news, bigger than CPI. Yeah, this is pretty closed. And this would be the first tap on the cloud to complete the bearish money shot since we popped inside and the cloud closed. Last time when I said that this was, you guys remember that or no?
January 29th, you said that. You said, I'll bet my full account you won't go past 42.97.
Yeah, but then also a few weeks back when this cloud was here, I think it was here actually, right? 41.76, right when it hit.
Yeah, it was a Friday, and then we
Yeah.
took swings over.
Yeah. So it was a really good level, right? Where the cloud was closed and we are coming there and we were not able to kind of break that. And then we got the dump. So I'll be interested to see, you know, if the cloud is closed. Now we're open and you guys see that, you know, you're getting a little bit of confluence, right? So we talked about 41.57 VPOC on ES when we were trading, right? If you guys think about it on the volume profile. Well, this one is suggesting 4158. You break this, there's a higher chance that we might push higher here, right? So we'll watch this. You know, the 4 hours is there, the dailies. Let me shift this. The dailies closed at 41.78, but not really heavily closed yet. And we bounced right off the middle here. Like perfectly held the middle here on a daily cloud. And if you guys, you know, if you're not familiar with the trend bar that you have, some of you guys have it, you can use this trend bar for swing entries as well. 15-30 minutes, you can use this for swing entries as well. So when a trend bar becomes reddish, like it is, you know, in certain cases here, it's becoming red here slowly. They usually, you know, lead to a decent run up or run down when you break them. Like here, got a nice little pop. Again, you went below, consolidated, and here's this one. Okay. I don't know how to save this. Okay. So that's the levels I would watch for ES, but I will try, you know, if I was you guys, I would try to avoid it as much as possible, playing wise. If you feel like you want to be a hero, by all means, play it on your own risk.
Not saying I want to be a hero, but let's say theoretically someone was playing it tomorrow, probably like the longer time frames would be better, like off of like a big pop, right? Like to the upside or downside.
Yeah, I would watch some of these key levels. If you pop over 4160, this level here, come back, not a bad opportunity to go long because you just regained a major level and you popped over it.
That's true.
If they, you know, pop over, let's say this, you know, 4190, would I go along to catch it to 4200 and 4208? Probably not.
Yeah, no.
Like just thinking from the risk perspective, you know, you want me to go along from here to here. That can be a candle down and up, or up and down, and I'll be screwed, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can catch this move from here with no psych levels in between. You know, probably 30, 40 points between here and here would be the play I look for. If we drop below this PD value area low, right, just because we're in a P shape, I would look to short it below this, because that would mean, hey, we're no longer finding value and we're not going to facilitate prices higher. So we're not being accepted here, and we would look for the value below. And I would think that they could push it all the way to this January value area high again for a test.
Wow. Okay.
Shorty, can you tell me about SPY?
I would not, I mean, SPY levels, I would look at this simply based off of the ES levels, but I'll give you these right now. So let me update
I was
this.
thinking maybe something over 415.
So it has similar scenario and volume profile, obviously, as ES, right? So if you look at this, pretty much after, you know, let's say you clear this high of yesterday, 412, you have a shelf here that I would not look to, you know, short initially tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's a lowercase b. Usually, you know, you want to short these, right? When you pop up, you want to short these shelves, but it seems like, I mean, let me just flew through this shelf here like it was not there.
Yeah.
It just sliced through it, right? It sliced, I mean, this one here, a little bit of trouble, but not much. But it just went through every single shelf. So let's see, you know, are they tired here? When they get to this level, maybe, right? But after this shelf here, what happens to the volume profiles? Out of value, and pretty much it would be almost 415 would be your level, and then you would have this target here written all over. So I would say, you know, over 415, you have 4016, 55. And then I would say you have the 420, and then literally over 420, I think it's gonna be a quick level to get to 430.
Okay, so for four over 415, 416, and then 420.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, bro.
You also have a VPOC here on the downside, just keep in mind.
Yeah.
406 is your, you know, VPOC. We filled this VPOC here.
Yeah.
At 405, pretty nice. And you know, when you don't remember that you should trust VPOCs, here's your VPOC.
Yeah,
You created imbalance from it, and you came right back to it. You have another VPOC here as well at 400.
Yeah, I have that.
And then you have another one here at 391.
Let me see.
And then is this not a VPOC, but another POC here. I think there's one more. Yep, and there's one all the way here running from a lowercase b shape at 376. So you have, I think, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 epochs below.
Yep.
I'm not bullish as fuck. I just think they've been manipulating this good, and the retail is just hopping on the train and they're driving this for them. And if you can't beat the stupid, don't be with the stupid. So I'd rather, watch
Like
from the
crazy.
sidelines and find when we slow down and show a little bit of exhaustion and start building some heavier positions on short side than chase every move and pray that I'm right and that we're buying and continue higher. Nothing wrong with being a bull either. I did expect them to hit the 42.71 on ES. I do expect them to complete that this week, actually.
Yeah.
Shorty, would you mind explaining what a VPOC is really quick, or no?
Yeah. Let me go and spy because I have them marked. So if you look at volume profiles, right? So prices and volume profiles usually create imbalances. When imbalance is created and when you leave from one POC, like this one here, I would say, let's use this one on the bottom. So here you had a nice little consolidation. You grab this data right here. Let me just make this. So you consolidated here and then you popped. Usually a good support is when you pop and you're reclaiming the support and you're not going pop and then do this pop and you're never really coming back. So usually these buyers on liquidities and imbalances that they created at these levels, they become strong magnets that they have to fill these orders. So there was a lot of imbalance left here when they went up to the top. They never filled these orders here completed. So if you think about this, I had it explained a long time ago to me as a well of water. If you find like a private well or find, some water in the forest, let's say you're super thirsty and you drink some water and you go far away, if you know the water is, let's say, 10 miles back and you can find water for sure, or do you just keep wandering around looking for water? Which one do you do?
Go where you know it is.
Depends how
You go to
thirsty
the
you
one
are.
for sure.
In those situations, it doesn't matter how thirsty you are. You just know you have a security over water. You know you're going to get it for sure. So most likely, people will come back to that private well where it already exists, and that's where the liquidity is. That's where the water is. They will go far away from it, but they will always come back. And if you just go back and test it, these points are 10 times stronger than anything else you've seen. Price will, once you start reaching them, if we break this 405, I'll take a bet with anyone. You break this 405, every single one of these is going to be hit within 3 weeks. Start hitting them and you'll see. You break this and you're going to hit every one of them, 3-4 weeks max. And this happened before, if you guys remember. On this run up, does anyone remember when I mentioned when we were running here? I said, man, they're just going to come as fast as they did up. You guys recall that? I don't have them anymore, but I
Yeah, I
still
do
have the
remember
charts
that.
on Twitter. I said these VPOCs are just going to be filled quick. And look at
Yeah,
this.
I remember that.
Doop, doop. Every single one, including this one here, got filled and made a lower low. The same thing here is going to happen, right? And I'm pretty sure here, there's some VPOCs between here and here. I don't have the data. I don't have the replay on, but I would check. That's it. So if it's a session volume profile and you never came back for a retest, that's called a virgin POC. Some call it naked POC. That's the meaning of it. You're most likely going to come back and fill this void here. And these are big time levels, in my opinion.
14th October VPOC 358.3. That's the lowest one.
Wow. Did you say 14th?
14th October 14th 358.
Yeah, I guess that's right here.
Hmm?
Yeah.
There are two above, one 422, another 427. I want to go there.
Yeah. So is it 358.26 you said?
358.30 I have, but yeah, close.
Yeah. I have 23. That's close enough. So this is a major one. I mean, this is one that hasn't been filled at all. That's what a VPOC is. for a guy sitting somewhere watching his son training. Okay.
So do you use those as targets or as bounce points?
Usually when the way I play these, if I see that let's say if we broke the 405, especially if you break this one, the 400 a psych, I would start a long entry short position below this level. And then from here to here, you have 10 points. I would close that short. And if we lose this one, I would probably go short from here to here, and I would close that one. Once you break this one, you come back for a retest or something close to it. I would short from here to here. Once these levels are lost, it triggers the algos to start filling the voids, filling the liquidity downside. They can also act, that's why I said, on this one here.
Is that 405.30 you have, Shorty?
Yeah, 405.36. I think last week or week before I mentioned if you're to lose 410, there was a high chance we're gonna hit that 405 level, and it wasn't me just throwing a number out. It was because we also had the VPOC, and there were some levels, if you guys recall, in between. If I turn this on, right? So here was our kind of the 410 level. We had the skinny belly, and then we came back to this area. We had some levels that we are anticipating, like this 407. I think.
Yeah.
407.46 was a level I had in my head. I didn't have 408.5, but it was 407.46 I had on SPY, and then I had the 406 level and some change, and then the ultimate one was 405. And I said, the risk increases between here and here just because they can, trap the shorts and quickly go. But this is usually a good long level, and putting a stop loss below it, that's how you want to play it. But if you lose it, it's gonna dump quick to the next one. The algos are programmed to fill this one immediately.
Another 5 points down.
I mean, just look at this one here, in terms of VPR, and once you lose this 390, there's a little bit of support here, but yeah, you're destined to visit this 381. You lose this, you fill the gap. What do people start doing when they accelerate? Well, they start loading on shorts. They'll start loading on shorts and drive it up here. Then they start loading 350s and you go long here. But the biggest thing that happened today, does anyone know what that was? Covered it last night. What was the biggest indication that we're gonna push higher?
The D profile from the day before.
It's my monthly profile.
D profile closing above the POC.
That was an indication that we might push higher. But what gave you confidence today? You're gonna try trading, like somewhere.
The
February value area.
Initial
February
balance
value
high.
area.
So we reclaimed the February developing value area low. We talked about it last night, right? We might come and kind of go here and we're going to defend it, but we got to reclaim this if we want to push higher. And that was our kind of 41, 12 or 11 level, whatever you want to call it, because there was a little bit of supply there. Once we reclaimed that, I mean, we just popped. I mean, you're sitting right now at February POC here. So I'm pretty sure if we pop above this PD value area high tomorrow, I think they'll just blow it out of the water. But my entry will be the retest of this level if they give it. Otherwise, I'm not going to take any of these trades unless we go above 2022 value area. Tomorrow is there's a lot of options in terms of range. So I'm giving myself one. If I miss it, I'm not trading. So I'm trying to limit my execution. I don't want to create too many scenarios for myself because I could see tons of scenarios tomorrow here. Just a lot of volume here, right?
Will you be live tomorrow?
Tomorrow, my son, well, actually, my wife has an appointment tomorrow. It's our last ultrasound for her. So I'll be on, but not tomorrow at 10:30. I have to leave around 9:45 to get to 10:30's doctor appointment. And
I'll be
then
live tomorrow.
But I'll be on afterwards to see
Cool.
who was here. Yeah, I suggest, not suggest, but you know, if you're not familiar and not comfortable, don't gamble tomorrow. It's better to watch and learn than it is to give your money away. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all I had. Just remember, we're inside the fab value area still. The month, you know, is coming up close. I think we're off on the 20th, right? There's no trading on Monday the 20th. I think there's a holiday here.
Yeah, I think it's President's Day.
Washington Day.
Yeah, so that we're gonna be closed. So, you know, after here, you have 3, 7, 9 days left of February. So depending on where we close here, it's fairly important, right? If we close above this value area high on Feb, I guarantee you most likely this is what we're getting here. We're gonna be pushing for the 42.71. This one right here. And then of course 4,300. If you get it all the way here, most likely go 4,300. Okay. All right. Oh,
Okay,
Thanks,
Shorty.
Shorty.
see
Thank you,
guys
Shorty.
tomorrow.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Shorty.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Have a good night.
See you all in the morning. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
See you then. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.